This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have a good neighbor on with us, and that is Rick Earhart of Western Financial Group. What's going on, my man?
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about what I do and for people to get to know me a bit better. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Super happy to have you on board. We've had an opportunity to see each other at networking events. We've sat down and talked business in the past, and I keep hearing through the grapevine all this great work that you're doing out there. And I said, hey, we should probably talk about that. And so super happy to have you on the show. For those listeners who are interested, why don't we dive right into it? And why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
So, Sean, I'm an account executive and I specialize in commercial insurance, and I'm working for Western Financial Group. So what I'm trying to do is help the commercial business out there who don't really understand their policies and what they have, and try to explain things to them in plain English so they can take a look at what they have and what they are either missing, shop the market to provide them with coverages that they need at affordable prices. Because if you don't look in the market, prices are going nowhere but up. So that's kind of what I do.
It seems like with insurance, I can speak for my own, personal insurance. Before I ended up switching to the provider that I had now, it's just something that comes out you see it come out every month out of your bank account, and then things change and your life change. And in business, we know there's ebbs and flows, and we have to adapt to what's going on. So businesses have to pivot. They have to react to what's going on out there, and that changes their needs. And then oftentimes because it's out of sight, out of mind, you don't necessarily remember all of your coverage or then even therefore understand it. So I imagine you do a lot of educating out there.
There's a lot of learning out there to be done, and what we try to do is we care for the client by educating them on the insurance industry. They don't have to know everything, but they do have to know what everything their needs are. So we go through their operations, we go through their risk exposures, and insurance is a way to transfer that risk to a policy. So they're covered, so they can sleep at night, so they can focus on more important things in their life other than the insurance aspect of things.
So if I'm a business owner and I'm listening to this episode, what would be a way that you could kind of, let's say, articulate so it would be easy for me to understand in terms of some things that I should be looking out for when it comes to coverage for my business?
Absolutely. You have to be fully insured. So if you haven't had a policy review for 2, 3, 4 years, it's time to update the insurance provider that you're using through your broker. And you have to update them in order to get a claim payout. So if you are not fully insured, meaning you don't have the right coverages in place, the insurance company could come back and deny a claim. And so it's important to have all your business operations listed and have all your coverages in detail that you need. And in that way, you can provide the comfort zone that you want to be in order to focus on your business, to focus on your family, and not have to worry about the details of insurance.
Is there things that you see often that are are missed, like a popular kind of coverage that people overlook?
I do. I see cyber insurance is missed. It's on the top line of a lot of renewal documents where it is excluded. I see business interruption insurance missed a lot, where it is expensive, but you don't need full coverage. You could get some coverage and then build it as you go. Your business grows, you add more business interruption. So what that means, if an insured peril occurs, like your building burns to the ground, you're able to have coverage for that interruption to pay your employees, to pay your rent, to pay everything that you need to pay the hard costs to keep your business up and running until the insurance covers the rebuild of the building, as an example. So these are the things I see on an ongoing basis. There's many more, but what we do is we point out the gaps in coverage, and then it's up to the business owner to make the decision on how best to to make sure that their risk is covered.
Very nice. That's what I wanted. So in everybody's got a bit of a journey, right? I talked to somebody the other day. They started doing what they were doing when they were like 14 years old. They're still doing it, just doing it for themselves. Super fun conversation. Everybody's got a different path in life that they walk, and changing opportunities around as we grow older, more mature, into finally finding something that we're super passionate about, and then really sinking our teeth into it, and making it a real career. And sometimes that happens right off the gate. Others, it happens later in life. And so tell our listeners about your journey. How and why did you get into doing what you're doing today?
Well, for sure. I'm in the food business for 25, 30 years, and the food brokerage business. I represented different companies in Canada for their goods and services. We were like the sales rep team. I had to deal with a lot of interesting plants. I had to go to see facilities, get them approved for their products to enter into the Canadian marketplace. So a lot of like technical CSI work. So when the industry consolidated and I moved out of the food brokerage business, insurance came up and it was a good fit. I could use my transferable skills to dive into people's businesses and find out all the different facets of their business in order to provide them with proper insurance coverage. So my journey started with Allstate for 2 years. Doing home and autos and motorcycles and sailboats, and enjoyed that. Then I wanted to get into the business side of things and worked for a specialty insurance company that did commercial insurance for 1 year. Kind of cut my teeth there, and an opportunity came along at Western Financial Group, and I thought this is the perfect fit. It's a company that has well been established. There's over um, 2,000 employees from coast to coast. They're big in Western Canada, and they're growing in the East. And it was a great opportunity, a good fit for me, because their philosophy of they care for the client first is what I hold dear to me, and try to do my best job every time for each client.
Yeah, there are a lot of insurance companies after they get their business, and then you just become a number. Hey, like I got a call the other day. I get calls on my birthday, which is nice. The team calls me, and so they do little things like that. But I just got a call. Like, I guess my water heater is, um, it's over 12 years old, so I'm not going to get coverage if it starts to leak, which I guess is all right. But it was more of like a call from somebody else, not my actual rep, to just, hey, I'm kind of letting you know. And there wasn't really anything much other than that, which I found to be a little off-putting. But all of these technicalities and rules and regulations, that I feel like insurance it's something that everybody needs, but it's not wildly fully kind of understood. So there's like a little bit of remorse there, for most people. But if you're getting that customer service like the right way, I mean, that goes for like any business. If you have a good level of customer service and you're getting treated well by that business, you're going to continue to do business with them.
Yes, I agree. One of the myths is you have a policy and you think you're covered for a loss, but in fact, that's not true. All policies are not the same. It's up to a good broker that you can find and work with, in order to explain things and be on top of it, and have a team that backs them up as well. And we have a team. I'm part of a team in our Schaumburg branch office, where there's insurance advisors there every day working with me and our clients to make sure that the policies are understood by the clients. And then upon renewal, we do a check-in and make sure that coverages are correct, and that they need more things or they need less things. We update the policies according to the client's needs. So you're absolutely right. I think it's important. You have to build that relationship and rapport with the client as well, and it takes a little time to do that if you're just getting a new policy on board. But an ongoing support system is very vital to the client to make sure that their needs are met.
100%. Are there any myths or misconceptions out there when it comes to commercial insurance?
Well, again, as I mentioned, that all policies are not the same. If you get a policy from one company, it could be completely different from another company. So policy wordings are important to read them, and that's what a good broker will do. Is we read them on your behalf, and we point out the differences when we're quoting, when we go to the market, and we say, okay, here's a price. It's X amount of dollars, and yeah, the price looks good, but you're missing this, that, and the other. So it's important to make sure that the policy wordings are actually, because that's the meat and potatoes of insurance policies. It really will cover your losses if they incur correctly, versus some policies may not. There's just not enough information that consumers have in order to read these policies. Or some are over 100 pages. Who's got the time to read all that? But
Right.
that's what brokers do. We look at the policies, we point out exclusions, we point out coverages, and we try to educate the client, so they can make a good informed decision.
Would it be safe to say that you're kind of like a lawyer in a sense, where it's your job to read all of the fine print and then deliver that into layman's terms for the client so they understand everything?
We do a lot like that, a little bit of CSI. We uncover things, and insurance companies change policy wordings. Every quarter, there's just changes from here to there, and you have to be on top of it. You can't be perfect at being on top of it, but we do our very best, and we make sure that we read the policy changes and inform the clients the best we can, in order for them to know what's what. So yeah.
We have some people call it a balance. I call it a harmony, because a balance is perfectly even on both sides, but we tend to work a little bit more than we play. And it's one of my favorite questions to ask on the show, because it allows us to kind of peel the curtain back a little bit and get to understand a little bit more of that human side on the people who run these awesome businesses here in our local market of Simcoe County. And so when you're not working on or in your business or helping clients, doing the CSI work and delivering a great level of customer service, like I hear through the grapevine. So I'm not just saying that to say it, I actually hear it through the grapevine. What does Rick like to do for fun?
Well, I've always liked to be on the water, either fishing or, in my case, I like sailing sailboats. We race on Wednesday nights on Kempenfelt Bay, and it is a time to turn off the cell phone and disconnect, and have a good race and camaraderie with the fellow crew that's on your boat, or your competitors, and then you can plug back in later in the evening when you're done. But I look forward to that. It's a weekly event, and then we have some weekend activities as well. So it's really a great opportunity to you know relieve stress and have a lot of fun at the same time. It's been great.
Yeah, certainly. Will take you up on that opportunity to get out on the water. I myself thoroughly enjoy being out there. Uh, Beautiful, peaceful, being out on the water, whether you're on a boat sailing or whether you're on a boat fishing. Big avid fisher as well too. Do you have any kind of special spots you like to go, or a type of fish you like to fish for?
My favorite fish is walleye, and I enjoy going up to Lake Vernon. I used to have a travel trailer located up there years ago, and found that lake to be extremely generous and rewarding, catching some nice 6 pounders and then frying them up. And, so I plan to go up there once or twice a year. I have some family in the area, so we go up and go spend some time with them. So it's a great experience.
Love it. Walleye, one of my favorite. I'd say walleye and bass would be, in terms of the sport. I enjoy bass fishing for the fights, but we like to eat. I mean, we'll eat bass as well. Bass is delicious, but there's nothing compares to walleye. So if there any time that we can try to get out there to go after walleye, it would be the number one choice. And then obviously for the sport of it, topwater bass fishing has to probably be one of my favorite things to do. There's just so much excitement around how they fight, and being on the top of the water. Just it's always a surprise every time, but you get a little bit more of that visual. So we started this we go twice a year now. Julie's parents live up in Sudbury, and they've got a place an hour and a half north there on a man-made lake. Their parents have been crownland camping there with a camper for like 25 years. They're like always up there in the summertime. So we started going up there. We go for the May long weekend, and then we also go for the September long weekend. And we never go out without not catching. It's pretty cool. We troll with go-getters with either minnows or with worms, and loads of fish in that lake. You can go all over the place, and it's just a really nice kind of peaceful spot. Like you mentioned, right? Getting an opportunity to put the phone away and really recharge the batteries. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. I really enjoy it as well. And good to know that you're into fishing too. So I suggest we try that sometime together, and even invite you come down and do sailing on a Wednesday night one time and see if it's something you like doing.
Yeah,
There's always
100%.
available spots for crew either on my boat or other boats. So absolutely.
Well, it'd have to be under your boat, and then you can whip me into shape. So looking forward to that. In life,
Perfect.
we pick a path, we walk that path. It's the path of life. We don't necessarily get to control when life decides it wants to throw things at us, throw tragedies at us. It throws life challenges, it throws hardships. And as human beings, we have to overcome these adversities. Um, and it's different for everybody, it affects everybody differently. But I've been always impressed with human beings at their ability to be able to overcome these challenges, find silver linings, and move forward. Seeing the glass half full mindset is a big part to play in that. Have you ever experienced a hardship, life challenge that maybe you overcame, maybe it made you better, maybe it made you stronger, maybe you took some silver linings from it?
Well, as I mentioned, I spent many years in the food industry, and when that business decided to consolidate, and changes had to be made, so I had to look for a new industry to use my expertise and my skill sets, and insurance was a good fit for me. So I've learned quite a bit since I've been doing insurance now. I'm in my fifth year, and it's a wonderful experience. Great people in the insurance industry. My first job at Allstate, a gentleman called me out of the blue. I applied out of the blue, and had a great conversation with Paul Vaughn, and I joined right away, and haven't looked back, and kept in touch with Paul. He's with a different company now, different brokerage, and yeah, wonderful times, and we became friends, and yeah, it's just been a great experience. Life, as you go along, you have challenges, and you just have to try to do your best to overcome them, and do the best you can, and you know yeah, so that's kind of where things are.
I think the same thing happened. What happened to you happened to me in the pandemic. I was in automotive marketing, and we had the microchip issue. So one of the major plants in Taiwan does 60% of the entire world's microchips. Apple takes 60% of it. The entire automotive industry in the world takes 20, and they go to other places, including the US, before they come to Canada. So, massive shortage of vehicles. Well, we did marketing to help dealers retain their clients, and they would have massive lots with every color and every option. And it really changed the landscape of how they order. You see it a little bit better now with inventory, but they're keeping it a certain way. You want to almost order your vehicle now instead of just going to shop off the lot. It's really changed. So, I helped build that business for 9 years. We turned it to 12.5 million dollars in just our province of Ontario, 25 across the company. We were rocking and rolling, and then just watch everything you built for 9 years just slowly crumble to the ground. The financial aspect of it, having to go back into survival mode, not being able to afford and live. So it was a pretty crazy time. But like yourself, I found something where I was able to take my transferable skills and move it into something different, and helping our local economy here between business owners and connecting our neighborhoods and people together. So ended up working out in the long run. I guess that would be the silver lining, is I get to do my dream job now, and to have an awesome podcast and be able to talk to great people like yourself and help connect people together. So ended up working out in the long run.
That's good. I hear you, and it is a challenge you have to reinvent yourself sometimes, and you find that happy place where you feel needed and you have value in what you're doing again. And it takes a little time to get that going, but now you're in a groove. Like I'm in a groove, and it's just it's a wonderful thing. I enjoy what I do. I'm involved in the community as well with the Chamber of Commerce. Help out there and as an ambassador, and I like to introduce the store owners and other retailers and business owners about the chamber and the uses and the ins and outs, I guess, of what the chamber has a value for. And so I enjoy that. It's building connections too, not only just new introductions for business, but long-term partners and friends along the way. It's been a great experience.
I couldn't agree more. As a newly appointed ambassador, definitely get to follow in your footsteps, teach me a couple of things. But it's an exciting thing to be able to connect people together. And it's funny that you say that, because I already wrote down on my piece of paper here a business that I met with or had a podcast earlier today that I think would be a really good alliance partnership for you. So we'll get an opportunity to talk about that on the other side.
Oh, wow.
What's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
I think Western Financial, I guess their main mantra or whatever is that we care. So we try to grow and innovate at the pace where we're caring for the client on all aspects of things, to make sure that they have the right coverage, to make sure we've shopped the market so they're paying appropriate pricing in the marketplace, and just being a good corporate citizen, I guess, and showing that we care for their needs. And so that's kind of the one thing that listeners should know about us. There's lots of different insurance companies out there, a lot of different brokers out there, and it's important for the clients, and people who have friends as brokers. That's great, but when's the last time a broker has done a policy review for you? When's the last time they shopped it out to the marketplace? So it's important to sure have that rapport with your broker, but the one thing is that the client is in charge. The client can change a broker in the heartbeat. It's called a broker of record. So they can make a change and keep their policy in place. If they're not getting the answers they need from a broker, they find a broker that they like and they want to keep their existing policies, say with the largest insurance provider intact. If that's the case, that's where their policy is. They want to stay with intact, but they're not happy with the service, then find a broker that you like and then do a broker of record change, and then you can make a change so you feel more comfortable dealing every day with somebody who will respect your needs and respond accordingly. So.
Very nice. Amazing conversation. I think that you've illustrated some key differences in what you're bringing to the table versus what's out there. It's important for people to get a policy review change. If you haven't done it in a while, I can attest, I hear out there from our local community, Rick does a great job, so I can vouch for him, which I don't openly publicly say on the podcast, but for Rick, I will. He does really care. So for those who are interested and they want to know a little bit more, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and do that?
We have, of course, web pages. I'm getting my own personal landing page with Western Financial, and that's coming. But I have my Schaumburg office is there. I have a direct line number. Am I allowed to give that on air, Sean? Or?
Yeah.
Perfect. So my direct line is 437-848. 6927, and call me to have a conversation and learn more about you, and you can learn more about me and see if it's a good fit.
Wonderful. Awesome stuff. Loved all of it. Thank you very much for coming on and doing this.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No worries.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.